If you've been waking up feeling like something's missing, like you're no longer quite yourself, but you can't explain why, you're not alone. Maybe you've started avoiding intimacy, not because you don't want it, but because your body simply won't respond the way it used to. Maybe your energy feels drained before the day's even begun, or your drive to engage with life, the motivation, the fire, is flickering more quietly than before. And while people around you keep telling you it's just age, part of you knows something else might be going on. What if the truth isn't that you're getting older, but that your body is missing something vital, something simple, and something fixable? I'm Dr. Maya Kapoor, and after more than 30 years working with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, I can tell you with absolute confidence, many of the issues men face later in life, the fatigue, the low libido, the fading erections, the mental fog, aren't caused by aging itself. They're caused by quiet, creeping deficiencies. Specifically, 3 essential vitamins your body once had plenty of and is now silently starving for. You won't hear this from every doctor. You won't find it on a prescription pad. But I've seen it over and over. Men who thought their best years were behind them, suddenly waking up, energized, reconnected, and alive again, just by restoring these missing nutrients. Today, I'll walk you through exactly what these vitamins are, how they work inside your body, why you're almost certainly low on them if you're over 60, and the exact steps to bring them back naturally, safely, and consistently. This isn't about chasing youth or pretending you're 25 again. This is about giving your body what it needs to function like the powerful, capable, and confident system it still wants to be. Let's begin with the most underrated but crucial piece of the puzzle: vitamin D3. Now, when most people hear vitamin D, they think of bones. But that's barely scratching the surface. For men, vitamin D3 is a circulation enhancer, a hormone supporter, and a key to testosterone production. Without it, your body struggles to maintain the blood flow you need not just for intimacy, but for stamina, clarity, and mood. I've sat across from men like David, 67, who told me he still felt desire, but his body just wouldn't cooperate. We ran a simple test. His vitamin D levels were half of where they needed to be, and within weeks of supplementing correctly, he was sleeping better, his morning energy came back, and yes, his intimacy returned too. Over 80% of men over 60 are deficient in D3. That's not just a number, it's a reason. A reason why you might feel slower, heavier, less responsive, because vitamin D3 does something powerful. It tells your body to produce testosterone. It opens up your blood vessels. It supports the circulation you need to feel alive in your own skin. But most men don't know they're low. They're told they're normal, but normal in medical terms just means average, not optimal. You want your levels between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. And to get there, most older men need between 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily, taken with fat so your body can absorb it. Eggs, avocado, or even a splash of olive oil will do the trick. This isn't a supplement you take just in case. This is a daily commitment to your strength, your clarity, your identity. But let's be clear, circulation alone isn't enough. You could have perfect testosterone levels and still feel flat, exhausted, and distant from your own life. That's where vitamin B12 comes in. B12 is the spark plug of your entire energy system. Without it, your cells literally can't produce energy. And as men age, their ability to absorb B12 from food drops drastically, even if they're eating well. You might be putting fuel in the tank, but your engine can't use it. That's why so many men over 60 feel like they're dragging through the day. Why they sleep 8 hours but still wake up tired. why their focus fades, why they lose interest in the very things that once lit them up. I had a patient, George, 71, who said, "Dr. Kapoor, I feel like I'm watching my own life instead of living it." His blood work showed low B12. We started him on a methylated B12 supplement, 500 mcg daily, sublingual, and within 10 days, he was alert, smiling, walking taller. Not because of magic, because his body finally had what it needed to function. B12 is critical for red blood cell formation, oxygen transport, and nervous system health. And when you don't have enough, everything slows down. Your thoughts, your movements, your desire. But when you do, you wake up and you feel like yourself again. Not who you were at 30, but the man you are now, finally unburdened by hidden deficiencies. And yet, even with vitamin D and B12 working in your system, there's still one more missing piece. A protector, a guard against inflammation, a shield for your blood vessels and hormones. That's vitamin E. Often overlooked, sometimes misunderstood, vitamin E is your body's natural defender against oxidative stress. The quiet internal rust that builds up in your arteries, your reproductive tissues, and even your brain. Without vitamin E, your testosterone struggles, your circulation falters, your cells begin to age faster. But when you restore it, especially in its natural mixed tocopherol form, you begin to see changes that run deeper than just libido. Walter, 74, came to me not for sexual issues, but because he felt emotionally numb, unmotivated, like the fire had quietly gone out. We found his vitamin E levels were below optimal within weeks of restoring them through almonds, sunflower seeds, olive oil, and a simple supplement. His mood lifted, his clarity returned, and so did his sense of presence in the bedroom, because vitamin E doesn't just protect your heart, it protects your confidence. These three vitamins, D3, B12, and E, they don't work in isolation. They work together. D3 improves blood flow and hormone signaling. B12 delivers oxygen and energy to your cells. Vitamin E keeps that entire system running smoothly, free from inflammation and degradation. Together, they form what I call the vitality triangle. And when they're balanced, your body remembers how to thrive. Not survive, thrive. Now that you understand what these three essential vitamins do and how powerfully they impact your body, the question becomes, how do you actually bring them into your life in a way that's sustainable, simple, and effective? I've worked with hundreds of men who've tried before, men who bought handfuls of supplements, who read the labels, who took them once or twice, and then quietly put the bottles back in the drawer. And I get it. Life gets busy, routines change, hope fades when nothing seems to work fast enough. But I'm here to tell you something important. The solution isn't more effort, it's smarter effort, precision, consistency, and trust in your body's ability to respond if you give it the right inputs in the right form every single day. Let me tell you about Frank. Frank was 66 when he came to see me. Former construction worker, grandfather of 4, tough as nails. But lately, he said, he felt like the lights were dimming, not just in the bedroom, but everywhere. He wasn't laughing like he used to. His patience was thinner, his walks were slower, his spark was quieter. But what struck me most was what he said next. "Doc, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of fading." That hit me, because I've heard it in different words from so many men before him. That fear that you're slowly slipping into a version of yourself you don't even recognize. So we started small, no overhaul, no fancy routines, just 3 anchors woven into his existing life. He took his B12 with his morning eggs, a sublingual version that dissolved under his tongue. He took his D3 with his first meal, usually eggs or oatmeal, with a little olive oil or full-fat milk to help with absorption. And his vitamin E came from a simple habit of tossing sunflower seeds onto his lunch salad. That was it. No 20-minute supplement ritual, no expensive products, just quiet daily choices that respected his biology. And 2 months later, Frank was back in my office, this time with a grin that didn't fade. "I feel like I've got traction again," he said. "Like the gears in my head and body are actually catching." His words weren't clinical, but they were perfect. That's exactly what happens when your body starts working again. You feel it in the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you look at your partner and yourself in the mirror. But here's the part that most men miss. Quality matters. A lot. You can't just grab the cheapest bottle off the shelf and expect real results. The form of the vitamin, the dose, even the timing all matter. Take B12, for example. Most store brands use cyanocobalamin, a synthetic form your body struggles to convert. What you want is methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin, bioavailable forms that your system can use right away. With vitamin D, many multivitamins include D2, cheaper but far less effective. You need D3, ideally cholecalciferol, and in adequate amounts, not 400 IU, but 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily, depending on your current levels. Vitamin E, the synthetic kind, is incomplete. Look for mixed tocopherols, including gamma and delta forms, not just alpha tocopherol on its own. And then there's consistency. You can't take these once or twice a week and expect miracles. Your body doesn't work that way. Think of it like watering a garden. A flood one day and nothing the next doesn't help the roots grow. But steady drops every day bring life back to the soil. These vitamins don't kick in like a stimulant. They build, they restore, they recalibrate your system from the inside out. Sometimes the shifts are subtle. A little more energy in the morning, a little more clarity in your thoughts, a little more sensation down there. But over time, those little things compound into something big. Which brings me to something else most men ask me. How long does it take to feel results? It depends. For some, B12 brings energy back within a week. For others, especially with D3 and E, it might take 4 to 6 weeks to really notice a difference in performance, stamina, and mood. But here's the most important truth I can give you. Change is coming. If you stay consistent, if you nourish your body the way it's asking to be nourished, your system will respond. Your hormones will regulate. Your blood will flow. Your spark will return. Maybe not all at once, but steadily and quietly. Until one day, you realize you're not dragging through your life anymore. You're moving through it with power. Let me also say this, because it matters. This isn't just about erections, or energy, or testosterone. It's about agency. About standing at this stage of life and saying, I still have a say in how I feel. I've seen this change ripple into marriages, into fatherhood, into friendships. I've seen men go from quietly withdrawn to fully engaged, from lonely to curious again. That's what happens when the engine starts turning again. You feel your whole system coming back to life, not in a loud way, but like an old engine finally humming smooth again, not just the parts under the hood. So let's talk about your next step. It's not complicated. First, if you haven't had your levels tested, do it. A simple blood test can tell you if your D3 or B12 is low. Most insurance covers it, and if not, it's still one of the cheapest, most valuable pieces of health data you can get. Second, choose your source wisely. Look for high-quality brands. ideally third-party tested. Don't fall for gimmicks. You don't need 20 supplements. You need 3 that work. Third, tie the habit to something you already do. Breakfast, coffee, your morning walk. Let the habit anchor itself in your day. And finally, track how you feel, not with charts or spreadsheets, but with awareness. How's your sleep, your mood, your morning energy, your intimacy? Those signs will tell you everything you need to know. And if you're still wondering if this is worth trying, let me leave you with this. There's a moment I see often. It's quiet, subtle, but unmistakable. It happens when a man starts feeling like himself again. Not younger, not perfect, just more him. The shoulders go back, the voice has more lift, the smile lingers longer. That's not placebo. That's chemistry, biology, and self-respect, all aligning into something powerful. That moment, that's waiting for you. I want to speak to something even more important than vitamins, something that doesn't come in a bottle, but may be the most vital ingredient of all: belief. Because for many men over 60, it's not just their body that's changed, it's their mindset. I've met too many who've quietly decided that decline is their new reality, that it's normal to feel less, to want less, to expect less. And I'm here to challenge that idea with everything I've seen and everything I know. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's simply waiting for you to give it what it needs to start working again. What you're feeling isn't failure, it's a message that the system can still function if it gets the signal. That's what these vitamins do. They don't create youth, they don't fake energy, they simply restore what time and stress have worn down. And when that happens, something beautiful follows. Your confidence begins to return, not the confidence of a younger man, full of bravado and hormones, but the deeper confidence of a man who knows who he is, a man who feels good in his body, steady in his step, present in his relationships. That kind of confidence doesn't come from pills or promises. It comes from connection to yourself, to your health, to the quiet belief that there is still more to enjoy, more to give, more to experience. And yes, that includes intimacy. Because let's be honest, this isn't just about energy or mood. It's also about performance, about desire, about connection. And too many men have been led to believe that when things go quiet in the bedroom, it's just part of aging. But here's the truth that's too often left out. Most of the changes you're experiencing in that part of your life are biochemical, not emotional, not inevitable. When your circulation slows, when your testosterone dips, when your nerve function dulls, intimacy suffers, not because you've lost interest, but because your body can't respond the way it once did. That's not shameful, that's biology, and biology can be nourished, supported, reawakened. I remember a man named Harold who came to me in tears, not out of embarrassment, but because he felt something slipping away that he wasn't ready to lose. He said, "Dr. Kapoor, I still love my wife. I still want to be close, but I can't, and it's breaking me." What he didn't know, and what so many men don't, is that those changes weren't permanent. They weren't even complex. His D3 was low, his B12 was borderline, his vitamin E was non-existent. We started small, measured, patient. Within 6 weeks, he was back, present, connected, smiling. Not because he'd taken a miracle pill, but because we removed the silent blocks that had been holding his body back from doing what it already knew how to do. That's the magic of real health. It doesn't force, it supports. It reminds your body of what it's still capable of. And when that happens, everything shifts, not just in the bedroom, but in the way you carry yourself through the day. You laugh more, you sleep better, You look forward to things. Your world expands again instead of shrinking. But I want to pause here and be honest with you. This won't happen overnight, and that's okay. In fact, that's the point, because what you're doing here isn't chasing a high. You're building a foundation, and foundations don't crumble under stress. They hold you steady, through ups, through downs, through the quiet moments in between. That's what this is about. Not a short-term fix, but a long-term return to who you are at your best. So here's the plan, simple and clear. Choose quality, choose consistency, choose to begin, and stay with it long enough to give your body the chance to respond. Trust the process even when it feels slow. Because the day will come, maybe sooner than you think, when you'll wake up and something will feel different. You'll take a deep breath and feel the weight lift. You'll move without stiffness. You'll smile without forcing it. You'll look at your reflection and think, he's still in there. And you'll know you've come home to yourself. That's the goal, not perfection, not youth, just presence, power, peace. Before we wrap up, I want to give you something more than information. I want to leave you with permission. Permission to care about your body again. Permission to stop apologizing for wanting to feel good, physically, emotionally, sexually. Permission to believe that no matter what age you are, you're still allowed to thrive. Because too many men reach their 60s or 70s and silently hand over the keys to their energy, their desire, their voice. They convince themselves they're supposed to fade, to shrink, to disappear into the background of their own lives. But I'm here to remind you that you don't have to disappear. You don't have to sit quietly while your body slows down and your spirit dims. You can take back control, not through extremes or empty promises, but through something much more powerful, consistent, intelligent care. That care starts with understanding that your health is not static. It's not frozen in time. It responds every single day to what you give it, the food you eat, the supplements you take, the sleep you honor, the breath you deepen, the touch you allow. All of it speaks to your system. All of it adds up. And the message your body receives from you should be this: I still matter. I still choose life. I still want to feel strong. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't just go through the motions. Don't grab coffee and scroll your phone while your body pleads quietly for support. Take that B12. Get that sunlight on your face, or that D3 with your eggs. Reach for that handful of almonds for vitamin E. Do it not because it's a task, but because it's an act of self-respect, of self-ownership, of quiet rebellion against the narrative that says it's too late. Because it's not too late, not even close. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s walk back into their power. I've seen them reconnect with their partners, stand taller, laugh deeper, sleep through the night, feel things again in their bodies, in their relationships, in their souls. And every single one of them started the same way, by deciding they were worth the effort, that they still had something to fight for, that being a man doesn't end when your testosterone dips. It begins when you reclaim the strength inside you and choose to live fully, fiercely, and without apology. So now it's your turn. You've learned the 3 vitamins that restore energy, blood flow, and hormonal balance: vitamin D3, B12, and E. You've learned why they matter, how to take them, and what changes to expect. You've heard the stories. You've felt the truth. And now there's only one question left. Will you take that first step? Because this isn't just about supplements. It's about self-leadership. About stepping forward when most men your age are stepping back. about refusing to settle for a life that feels smaller than the one you deserve. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. So start today. Start gently, start consistently, and start believing again in your vitality, in your manhood, and in the beautiful truth that this chapter of your life may be the strongest, most connected, and most meaningful one yet. I'm Dr. Maya Kapoor, and I believe in your ability to feel alive again, not someday, not in theory, but starting now. And if something in this video spoke to you, I'd truly love to hear your thoughts. Just drop a comment below, even a few words. If you know a friend, a brother, or someone quietly going through the same things, please share this with them. You're not alone in this journey, and if you'd like more honest conversations like this, feel free to subscribe. I'll be right here, walking this path with you.